Good morning, tractor lovers. Well, as you can see, we got Big Red loaded up here, and we got him dressed up in his dirt working clothes today. Got the handy dandy everything attachments box blade on the back, and we got the bucket on the front. We're about to head over to a client's house that's got a absolutely beautiful view of his creek, except he has about a 30-foot drop off behind the house, and has no way of conveniently getting down to the creek. And then he's got a lot of brush on the creek that he needs cleared out so they can see the creek from the house. And so we're going to go over and we're going to build him a pathway down that drop off. I've already had some dirt delivered over there that we can use, and we'll get that cut down there and get a road built down to the lower landing, and he'll be able to drive his mower down there. We'll be able to get Big Red down there. So today's going to be dirt work, and probably the day after tomorrow is going to be brush work again. I'll holler at you when we get there. Oh Lordy Red, what have we got ourselves into this time, son? Let's take a peek down here. Ooh-wee. Pretty good step down there. So here we are at the clients I was talking about earlier. Absolutely beautiful lot here. But we got to figure out how to get from here down to there. We're going to build this little road down here somehow. We'll let Red figure it out. We got plenty of dirt up here to push down. And no reason we can't do it. I'm going to ease down here a bit. There we are, about 6 feet off the hill, looking up at Big Red. And we got a ways to go before we get to the bottom of this puppy. talk a little bit about how I have my box blade set up for this operation. It's important that you get your box blade angle set correctly. And one thing that's really important, I don't have on here yet, it is a hydraulic top link. I have the parts at the house, I've just been too busy to get it on here. Now, notice I'm using the bottom pinhole here. Where can you see this? Okay, there we go. Notice I'm using the bottom pinhole here for the front of the link. The reason for that is, when I raise the box blade, I want it to tilt forward as much as I can because it helps me get on and off the trailer. It's just that simple. Let's look at the tines here. For this kind of operation, I've got my tines set all the way as deep as I can get them. I want to get as much cut as I can on this existing base of this soil. And I want it to pull up as much as it can in this bucket when I go to drag it down or up the hill. By the same token, notice that I have quite a bit of back angle on this blade. The reason being, I want my back blade to bite hard when I go to push down the hill. I want to dig it in like a bulldozer and have it roll the dirt over as I go. One thing to keep in mind, you're not pushing dirt, you're rolling dirt. That's a really important concept. You want to scoop up the blade and roll over the top. That way you're making a constant cut in there. If you think you're pushing dirt, you're probably not digging down quite deep enough to be effective with what you're doing at that particular point in time. As you can see, we made quite a bit of progress over here getting down the hill. Walk down here a little bit and show you how the approach I'm taking to it. First off, you'll notice that there are some areas in here that are uneven. I'm going to use two terms, flat versus level. Flat to me means flat, but it may be on a slope. Level means it's level, 0 level degrees. So we're working down the grade here, and my goal here is to keep this flat as I go down. I'm doing a couple of things here. Had a lot of excess dirt over on the sides, and I'm slowly working that back in as I come down the grade. I'm focusing primarily on shooting the grade right down the middle of this path. And as I do so, I'm using both my rippers and the box blade pushing on the back of the box blade, and I'm also using the bucket on the tractor to move this stuff around. One real advantage that we have as tractors over bulldozers is that it's real easy for us to pull material back over into our site. If you had a dozer in here in this kind of tight confines, there's really not a good way to get in here and pull this material back from the sides. With the tractor, we can back in there with our back blade, or we can go in there with our bucket. We can reach out over that and back drag it over into the site here and reclaim that soil that we need over here. The original site here had, I don't know, 5 or 6 loads of triple axle dumps in here of additional soil. Now as I cut in here, you can see I'm beginning to cut down now into the original base soil. I'm just about down to that here, so that we'll match the contour of the hill as we go down in here. That's a pretty livable slope in there for it. We're going to want to get as much of the fill dirt as we can downhill here, and you can see that's what's going on over here. We've moved a lot of that fill downhill as we've cut down through here, and I've pulled a lot of it off of the sides here from our original treatment that we had on here of the dump loads of it. They just piled it up here in the driveway. They'd piled it up real deep in the driveway. In phase 1 of the project, I came in and just leveled that out so that they could use the driveway here for parking trailers and such. Now we're on phase 2 of the project. We're going to cut this slope about where that tree is there, all the way across. We're going to begin our downslope here. We want to have that level and flat on top. As I come down the grade here, currently you can see I've got a lot of concave in here. We're going to be building this up so there's a little bit of convex crown in this road as it comes down here. First thing we got to do though is get our slope cut and get the contour of the soil laying in here the way we want it, so we can come safely down this trail. One thing to always be cautious of as you get near the end of these dumps, when you're working down a hill like this material down here is always going to be very soft and squishy. So if you run down here with a load on your tractor on the front loader or something, you can bet you're going to sink into that, and that can put you right on down the hill quicker than you want to get down the hill, okay? So as you work in here, as you're working down this grade, you can see I've got a little bit too steep in here. I want to continue pulling more material down here so I can keep my grade as low as possible. I want as low angle on that grade as I can, but I've still got to be steep enough to reach the bottom of this hill here. It's going to be a steep drive. There's no two ways around that. When we get through with it, it's going to be steep. I've got a lot of material piled on the sides. I'm going to be pulling that back over in here as I work. I'm bringing that material down slope and pushing it off the end here. You can see we've come a long ways down this thing. We've still got a ways to go. We're probably going to end up, when I get down here, I'm probably going to build out over in this area just a bit and then let the slope kind of curve off that way to get me on down to the bottom landing there. I think it's very doable. I've always thought it was quite doable, but I think it's going to make a really fantastic place here when we get done with this.